Hey all, welcome. This is the second tutorial of PyQt, which will be looking at setup and the initial steps of doing a program, which is the process of doing a program. So let's now start off with what we have seen in the last tutorial. We have seen what is PyQt and what are the things available in PyQt, like how we are going to use that PyQt libraries in order to make sure that we create a good graphical applications along with the support of backend systems and graphical controls. So let's now go ahead and set up the PyQt by following the three steps. The first step we are going to do is like we'll go to this mentioned website, which is https colon double slash pypi.org slash project slash pyqt5. So we are going to type this address in the in Google Chrome, and then uh, after the website opens, like we'll be having a installation tab. In that we'll find the command called pip install of pyqt5. So we are going to use this command in Anaconda command prompt line or Python command prompt line. Uh, like we are going to use this command to install the PyQt library, which will enable us to create the programs for creating graphical applications. So let's now go ahead and set up the PyQt by following the steps. As I've already opened the web page, as you can see. So here there are so many tabs available. You can see the project description, then you have author, license, documentation. Documentation, if you want any documentation of the PyQt, you can just download it from by clicking here over here. Then as I said, under the installations tab, we have pip install of PyQt5. So we are going to copy this and let's install the PyQt library. So it's going to take some time as we are downloading, like we are going to install the pyqt, right? So it's downloading from the website and it's getting installed, so it will take a little bit of time. So we are going to wait for this to get installed. After that, like we'll start creating the first program. So here we go. We have installed the PyQt 5 library file. And now let's go and look at the sample code for creating a sample application with an example. So where were we? Now what we are going to do, we are going to discuss for creating a simple GUI application. That is the steps. So therefore there are 5 steps involved in creating a simple GUI application. So I'm going to create a simple GUI application in which we are going to display a window along with a header called PyQt5 simple window, in which you will be having minimize, maximize and close option button with close option tab. Now let's go ahead and check out, like we'll start discuss about the code that we are going to use for creating that application. So these are the 5 steps we are going to use for creating that simple app. First, we'll import PyQt module, in which we'll be having certain things that needs to be imported for creating the application. Followed by, we'll be defining a method. In this method, we'll define the size, like top, down, right, left. All the steps will be defined over this method. And the third step, what we are going to do is we are going to define a separate method for the title, which is going to be displayed on top of the screen. Next, we are going to display the application by using the show method, which is a word called show. We use that to display the application. Lastly, we are going to create the main method to run the application. So these are the 5 steps required to create that simple G application. Now let's go ahead and discuss one by one what are the steps that are going to be defined inside this. First, we'll discuss about the import PyQt module. Let's go ahead and check out that. So here we go. This is the first step we are going to do. Like we are going to import PyQt module. Inside this, we are going to define three things. First, we'll import the sys, which is a system. Followed by, we are going to import Q application and Q widget from PyQt5.qt widgets that will be used. And lastly, we are going to import Q icon, which is available in like from PyQt5.qtGUI, which comes under graphical user interface. So these are the three things we are going to define under import PyQt module. Let's go ahead and see what is the second step. Second step, as I have told you earlier, is defining a method. So here in this method, what we are going to do, we are going to set the title PyQt5 simple window, and along with that, we are going to define the left, top, width, height, and lastly initializing the UI, which is init UI, by using the self keyword. So here we go, like as we follow the common rule, which is first we create the class. So I have defined the class as and class name as app, and inside the parentheses I have called on the Q widget, which I have imported from pyqt5.qt widgets. Then I have defined the method has been defined as initialized by using defs underscore initialize, which is init, and inside that self keyword. No, and super method has been used, followed by title, left, top, width, height, and lastly initializing UI. So we are going to do write the code for these things in defining a method. So what is the third thing we are going to do? We are going to define a method for title. Let's go and check out the define a method for title. So inside this, I'm going to use the method as initui, and inside the parentheses I have used the keyword as self. So by using the self keyword, what I'm going to do, self dot set window title as self dot title, which is the title will be taken, which is self dot title as pyqt5 simple window, that will be displayed inside the window title. Followed by what I'm going to do, I'm going to use self.setGeometry, and inside the parentheses I'm going to call self.left, self.top, self.width, and self.height, which is 10, 10, 640, and 480. So these are the things I'm going to define inside the self-geometry. And lastly, I'm going to use the last method, which is uh, the fourth method, which I have defined as displaying application using show method. So I have used the show method as self.show to create the application. And lastly, we are going to use the main method to run the application. Let's go ahead and check out the main method. So I have created the main method by defining if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equals to main, and inside that I have used the object called app equals to, I have used the queue application which we have uh, used in import PyQt module, which we have taken from pyqt5.qt widgets. So what will happen? I have used the queue application inside that system that sys.argv, which I have used, which I'm going to pass on. And lastly, I have created an variable called ex. Inside that, I'm going to use the app method, which is app method. And lastly, I'm going to exit the program by using app.execute underscore followed by the package. So here we go. Now, what will happen after running this program? A simple pyqt the window will be opened along with the icons of close, minimize, and maximize with the header, which is pyqt5 simple window, which we have defined. So this is the overall code for getting the output as expected output as a PyQt5 simple window. As you can see, first we imported, then we created the class, then we defined the method. Inside that we have defined the title, left, top, width, height, and lastly initializing UI, init UI. Then followed by for window title, we have defined the method as init UI, and inside that we have used the self keyword and set the window title and taken the self dot title, which we have defined PyQt5 simple window inside the parenthesis of set window title. Then we use the geometry and called on the self dot left and self dot top, self dot width and self dot height. It is 10, 10, 640 and 480. And lastly, we have used the show method to like run the display the application, and inside the main method we are going to run the application by using the queue application and inside the parenthesis as following by sys dot argument, which is argv, and created a some like a variable called ex. Inside that we stored the app, and lastly exiting the system. So here we go. After running this up code, what will happen? This will be displayed. So I'm going to end this tutorial right for now. In the next tutorial, we are going to implement this code and see whether we get an output of PyQt5 simple window along with the icons of maximize, minimize, and close icon. So let's go ahead and let's run this code in the next tutorial. That's it for today. Thank you for joining. Hope the session was clear. See you in next tutorials. Bye guys.